to Beyond the Ring, a podcast that covers all things in the stock show industry from the informative to the insane, starring Ryan Rash.
Someone out there right now is holding their breath waiting for you to fail. Make sure they choke.
And Dale Hummel.
If you are called a professional, be professional.
Now on with the show.
Welcome to Beyond the Ring. This is Dale Hummel, along with Ryan Rash.
Hello, hello, hello.
Ryan, how is the Indianapolis of things?
I'm leaving soon because I have to go judge a show, and then I have to go to the Kentucky State Fair, but I love the indie of it all.
And what hotel is your residence there?
The Conrad. It's wonderful.
Conrad. I would hate to guess how many nights a year you spend at the Conrad.
I don't know, but a lot. Yeah. But I like it.
And it's not expensive, right?
Oh, no, it's cheap. Completely.
I do not believe that.
I wouldn't think you would.
How about
you know it's a lie?
How about the Dr. Fauci of things? Have you heard anything about him?
He's leaving. He's quitting. He's moving on to other things. He's always wanted to explore other things in life besides working for the government. Now, he said that out loud, but he's worked for the government since like what?
I believe it was 1922.
I mean, I know at least in the 80s.
Yes, no, very long. And he could have retired years ago, I'm assuming, basically at the salary he's making by being there.
So I just don't understand. If he wanted to do all these other things, what took him so long?
And is he not the highest paid government official? I did hear
That's
that.
what I've heard. Yes, that's what I've heard.
You know, he's still yet to come out and admit that some of the policy.
No, because he's not wrong. It was science.
Yes. Anytime you criticize him, you're
criticizing science.
Amazing, isn't it? Just amazing.
So your dogs don't even believe
no,
that bullshit.
they're out on Dr. Fauci, completely out. It's I even when he's talking about his retirement, when he's getting questions, he still comes back. Well, you can't criticize science. If you criticize me, you're criticizing science.
The one thing that like I was out on him from the very beginning. You and Trump both liked him, and I did not. And
I don't know about liking him.
No, you defended him at the onset of Rona. Go back and listen.
No, I
did.
I am not going to say I did not defend him because you would assume somebody with that position, and I guess maybe you should always question authority, but he has the experience. There's no way possible that he did not know. He did not disclose what he knew, and he was leading us down a false path. I don't believe he believed what he was saying.
But anyway, so he's gone.
In December.
Which is fine. In December, he's gone. Wait till freaking the White House appoints somebody new. Y'all think Fauci is bad? Just wait.
Is that a White House appointment? I don't know.
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Who else would pick it? The Senate? Congress?
Yes, I assume it has to be a political appointment, but I really have no idea on that one.
I mean, it's not like HR is going to interview people for this position. I mean, I'm assuming Biden gets to pick it, but
I haven't heard anything about that whatsoever. Nothing.
Unless they're completely not going to have a top doctor in the United States of America anymore, like Fauci's done the whole career in. And so, but yeah, I mean, I don't like him, and I don't buy his bullshit or his science, but I'm afraid that his predecessor will be worse. This is like Jen Psaki and the cute little black girl, okay? She was bad.
We don't even know her name.
But Jean-Pierre or something French. I don't know. Anyway, but she's worse.
I don't think she's worse because she's...
Oh, she's worse.
No, she's perfect. Yeah, she's harmless.
She says, I don't know. I'm not going to comment from that.
Circle back at least was, I think, intelligent. I
do not like her. This girl has no brains.
Yes, I know. No, that's perfect. That just, it puts out that impression that we need. Where Circle Back, even though she would stand up there and lie, she would do it with some confidence.
But like, and that's the thing, this poor girl, do you notice that she never, which they haven't had a press conference since like August 9th, by the way. But anyway, have you noticed that when she does these, she never looks up from the podium? She's always looking down at her notebook or something because she knows nothing. So she does not want to look people in the eye. It's terrible.
It is.
Cute little girl.
It is.
Just cute.
I'm not quite done with Fauci yet. What do you think about Senator Kennedy? He's coming back on him. If the Republicans take the House or the Senate, either one, it sounds like he's pretty much coming out and saying, "Hey, we're gonna call Dr. Fauci to the table. We're gonna find out the truth, or get him to admit that gain to function funding went to Wuhan." Did you hear this? I guess this was, I don't know which Senate hearing or which hearing that Dr. Fauci was in, when he was asked, and I'm sure we maybe even talked about it, I just forgot. He comes out and defends Wuhan, that when asked, do you know that the money we sent there wasn't used for gain to function? He continues to deny that. And it appears very clear that we sent quite a bit of money to Wuhan lab, goes into a big pool. I don't care if he's say it's used for janitors or for gain to function research. It's being used for something, and that allows other money to be used elsewhere. He still comes out and says, well, when we send that money over there, we're giving it to trustworthy scientists in China. They will do the right thing with it.
Right.
What on earth makes anybody think we should be funding research for China? That's especially...
Okay, hold up. Now, look, and this is not going to be popular. I don't think we should any more be sending money to China than a man on the moon.
No, that is
But,
popular.
okay, no, I think it's dumb. It's not any dumber than sending all that shit to Ukraine for him to lose.
Or leaving billions of dollars of equipment in Afghanistan.
I mean, it's not any stupider than that.
Or maybe opening our border wide open.
I mean, like, so again, yeah, sending money to a lab in China to give to scientists, I don't care what they do. Yeah, that's freaking dumb. It is not any dumber than the billions of dollars that we have sent to Ukraine that he's going to lose. He's going to lose. This is not going to help anybody. This is going to go on forever. It's dumb. I have never...
You're the only one to mention the war in Ukraine. Has it disappeared?
No, it's still going.
It's still going. If you listen to mainstream media, you think it's just doesn't
Oh,
exist.
no, it's on there. They say something about it every day. It's just not much. Because Ukraine is losing.
And we have maybe the midterms coming up. Everything's great before the midterms. How many victory laps has your Sleepy Joe been taking lately?
Well, he's on vacation.
Yeah,
so
that's it. He's
no
celebrating.
victory laps.
Celebrating
No victory
by
laps.
his vacation.
Now, the media are doing all kinds of it. Like, they're having a ticker tape parade for the old man. But Joe is on vacation. And I don't think Jill is cleared of Rona. So I don't know why she would be with him. Because, she got Rona after he did.
I did hear that, yes.
Yeah, like, he couldn't get rid of it. Now she's got it, but they're on vacation together. That makes so much sense.
Probably riding bikes on the beach.
The 87-year-old man could not get rid of Rona. Like 3 weeks, could not get rid of it. His wife gets it. Oh, let's go on vacation together. This is the idiots that run our country.
It is hard for me to imagine.
I also, talking about Fauci and all this other bullshit, if Rona can't take out Joe Biden, there's nothing left for this disease. Okay? I'm sorry. There's nothing.
Oh, my.
He's like 116 years old. He can't ride a bike, whatever. Rona could not take the man out. There's nothing left on this disease. Nothing. Move on. It is over. There is no more pandemic.
Let's hope that it's at that level. And I think, well, Ryan, you're traveling. I've traveled more than usual here recently. I'm just not seeing many masks out there. I see more at my local grocery store than I do just about anywhere in the country.
I don't see many masks at all except in an airport, and there's not many, but there are still some. And again, I find this very odd, and this is going to sound racist, but it's not being racist. Far less white people wear masks than other ethnicities.
I would agree with that.
And I don't understand that.
No, I as you mentioned that, and I've thought about it, but as you mention it, and I think back, it's a disproportional.
No, it is very disproportionate. Like, you see Latinos and African Americans and all. The majority of the people are masked are more those races, and very few Caucasians are, and I don't understand it. I don't get it.
It correlates to the political affiliation in general.
I think it correlates to the fact that white people are, what are we're entitled. That's what it is.
Oh, my. Oh my! Now, prior to COVID, I would see traveling internationally, obviously the Asian population wearing them because
Yeah, but they've always
Yes.
worn them.
yes, that's what I'm getting at. That's
They had a mask and a camera everywhere they go, okay?
And it-
Not even their phone. They carry like a real camera.
and it was to me the first few times I saw it, it hit me as strange, but it was pretty normal. It just was, and I think there's gonna be people wear masks the rest of their life. The few that
Which
do
this is getting off topic, but I still have to bring this up.
we,
So,
we have no topic for current events.
yes,
It's okay.
well, anyway, so you see the Asian people long before Rona, they come over here to Vegas or New York or whatever with their camera and their mask on. But now when you see pictures of Asia and Asian people in that continent, they don't have no mask.
No, I have to disagree. Maybe not in pictures, but when I'm traveling Thailand, stopping even in Taiwan, the little bit that I travel into those areas, like in Bangkok, I don't know what percentage of the population, but they're there. They're it's higher than what I see right now in the U.S. Not
okay.
everybody by the means.
So I'm just saying, when you see videos and pictures of those countries and people, roaming around the city, you don't see all these masks.
Yeah,
But when
and
they come over here as
Agreed.
tourists, they always have
And
them.
it's a low population, a low percentage that's wearing them. But I would see them, and it would always catch me a little funny. And even now, and I'm trying to think where I was recently that surprised me that I didn't see more masks, and I'm not seeing as much at O'Hare. Beetlejuice must have said it's okay. We can go to the airport without one.
The biggest masked airport that I have seen recently was Atlanta. There was, and that is when because I saw all those masks, and then I noticed, I was like, these are none of the people wearing masks are Caucasian. They're all other races. I was like, that's where that came from. But anyway, yeah.
And I believe it. I don't know this because I can't get inside their minds, but I believe a portion of those people that are wearing masks, it's all about a political statement more, or not all. There are some that are wearing them for a political statement, some that are wearing them to try to protect themselves, assumably.
Again, if you have like 2 functioning brain cells, just 2, I'm just saying 2 functioning brain cells, I don't see how you can think that a cloth mask is going to help you anymore.
Agreed.
Like, the science has been proven wrong on that. And most of these are not, the ones that Daddy James had.
The
that
N95.
still has. Yeah. No, these are just regular cloth masks, or the little blue ones that you see doctors wear before, stuff like that.
And-
This is not working.
You know why there aren't the N95s out there? They're available. Why aren't they wearing them?
Because Daddy James has all of them. They are stockpiled in Crockett America. That is why.
They are very uncomfortable, hot, uncomfortable. It's not convenient. So we're all of a sudden going to compromise if we're truly concerned about our health or others. Well, it's not as comfortable. So we're going to wear something else.
We have boxes of them. If there is a shortage, I can make lots of money selling them because we have them all.
Oh my. Well, this takes me into something that I'm concerned about. And
Well,
not-
I
not-
am more
not-
concerned about something else. Then we'll go to your concern. Why isn't Trump in jail? Why hasn't he been arrested? Why hasn't he been indicted?
I was trying to push this off towards the end because I knew it was
Nope.
coming.
Nope. I want to know. I want to know why aren't we in jail? Why aren't we indicted? Why haven't they said anything? Do you know how bad it is that the judge is now going to unseal the affidavit?
Yeah,
That's
but-
how bad this
I,
is.
I believe highly retracted.
Redacted. But yeah, but you still don't understand. This has never happened in history.
No, I'm aware of this.
In
Completely-
history, never
completely aware.
happened. That man is thinking, "Oh hell, I have screwed the pooch big time. This is it."
And Trump
Like-
is legally filing for some independent investigation on the whole raid, I believe.
Yes, the only thing that I'm disappointed in, and I know that all his people are probably telling him not to do it. Like, I really wish, because they asked them to turn off all the surveillance cameras in Mar-a-Lago while they were raiding the house, and they wouldn't do it. So they have all the FBI people on video doing whatever they're doing. So either it's not juicy enough to release, or like there's something. But I would like to see I would like to see this.
My
Right.
assumption is they knew they were on camera going in, so they probably weren't going to do anything stupid. That is my assumption.
It wasn't stupid to go raid
No,
a president's
no.
home.
Stupid in how they gathered the information. And they were
I
obviously the people that were there gathering it. They were given orders to go do it. I don't know if they wanted to do it or didn't want to do it. But if you know you're in Trump's home on security camera, I think you're going to think about how you're performing your task. How's that?
Now, I am very jealous of the people that did this, that got to go into Melania's closet. Like, I would like to do that. Like, I would pay to go into Melania's closet. Just
you
to,
wouldn't.
like, look.
You wouldn't.
Oh, yes, I would. Like, her clothes are to die for. But anyway, but I just want to know, where's the indictment? Where's the arrest? Where are all the things? I'm waiting.
I think you're going to be waiting until after the midterms.
I'm waiting.
Midterms.
I'm waiting.
Midterms. Nothing. Let them speculate. There's nothing
They're
there.
supposed to
After
haul
the
him to
election,
jail.
They can come out and say, we really don't have anything.
Yeah, see, that didn't work for me.
No, I think there's going to be so much pressure. They can't
That
push
don't
it
work
off
for
that.
me.
They can't push it off that long.
Especially if this affidavit, that even though they're going to redact it and whatever, all this other, if there's a lot of bullshit in this affidavit, yeah, that's not going to work for me.
I think they're going to black out so much of it, you won't have any idea what's even in it. That is my prediction.
I think that's going to piss more people off. Like they're going to unseal it, but then they're going to redact it so much that you can't tell anything. That's really going to set people off.
That's what it sounds like to me when I'm listening.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
To the officials discuss it. So I don't know.
I just want to know if I had missed something and they haven't taken him to jail or.
Don't you think Trump is being a little unusually quiet about it?
He's suing them.
Good or bad, but yet, I mean, publicly. Maybe it's because he's Truth Social and we're not hearing it.
Yeah, it's all Truth Social. It's because I don't even go on it. It's such a terrible platform. But anyway, it really is bad. But he's given interviews. I mean, he went on Fox News Digital and all this other stuff. I don't think he's been quiet about it. I mean, like, he's literally doing something legally about the whole whatever. So, yeah, and he also went to the judge and told him to release it all, that he pushed for the release of it. I don't think he's been quiet.
But it was not until recently, at least he hadn't filed anything legally. It was just a public push pressure.
Well, it only happened 2 weeks ago.
Well, he could have done it probably that.
Oh, and also, do you know you're he's on vacation though? Nothing from Joe on this. Not a word. Not
other than the White House saying they didn't know anything about it.
No, I'm talking Joe himself has said not a word.
I don't even know if he knows it took place. I really don't know what he's comprehending.
He was in the middle of his roundabout, so you're probably right.
Maybe it is crazy to me. What about I'd heard on the news that Apple is initiating a mandate for their employees to come back to work for 3 days a week, and they are furious, protesting, not
coming
to the
office.
Yep, they have to go to the office at least 3 days a week.
Oh, just terrible things.
Isn't that
awful?
Funny? DeSantis is running in his primary today. We're actually recording the day we're recording here, unopposed.
Unopposed. He's very happy about it.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be okay there.
There's 4. This is stupid. So there's 4 Democrats running for governor in Florida. Do you know one of them is a former Republican governor of the state of Florida?
I knew it was a former governor, and I thought I'd heard that, but I wasn't going to say anything because I wasn't sure.
How does that work?
I don't know. They changed parties, I guess. And
well, it works the same way for Bernie. Bernie's an independent unless he's running for president. Then he becomes a Democrat.
There.
So
at least, you know what? I'm going to stick up for Bernie because he doesn't pretend he's not a socialist. He doesn't lie about any of these things that he wants to do. He just tells you. You may not like it, but he does say, this is what I want, and this is what it's
but he runs as an independent because he's a socialist or whatever. But then he's ran for president twice as a Democrat, even though he's not a Democrat.
And I suspect there's a chance you might see him again.
Hypocrite.
No, I think it's in a situation where he knows that he has to run as a Democrat or he gets...
Isn't he older than Joe?
But more coherent.
I would agree with that, but dear Lord.
I'm going to get... I don't know if he's older than Joe. I think he is. I don't know.
I think he is. Anyway, so that I'm just waiting for Trump to get arrested. It hasn't happened yet. So you had something else you wanted to
speaking
talk about?
of DeSantis and the elections, Kristi Noem, you remember her?
Yeah, I know. Your girlfriend in South.
Do you think do you think she's going to at least throw her hat in for some recognition, maybe not go through with it?
I do not think I don't think if Trump announces he's running, nobody's running. That's it. It's going to be him.
Even DeSantis.
No, I don't think he's going to run either. He'll get beat.
No, I don't know there. I don't know. He's preparing himself to run at this point.
I don't think so. I think it all depends on if Trump runs. And again, I do not think I think
don't know how
Nikki Haley, Kristi Noem, all of them have said if Trump runs, they're not running.
I don't know how we would think that Trump isn't running if allowed.
He hasn't said it.
Oh, come on, give me a break.
He hasn't said it.
That is crap.
Has he come down the escalator and announced? I haven't heard
come
him.
Down the escalator. He said it in every manner you can say it without saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm running." That you know better than that. You're
until
smart.
until the hey, look at me, I'm running, and they have some signage. I'm gonna say, but I don't think I am not going to lie to these people that listen and say that I do not think DeSantis probably is not a more electable candidate than Trump. DeSantis can't beat him in a Republican primary battle.
No, I don't think he can. I believe you are correct there.
That is the thing. And I think I don't think DeSantis wants to go out there and get beat because then that damages him.
Yes, we don't need
for future.
It would be a bloodbath, I'm afraid. It wouldn't go.
Oh yeah. And again, I'm not saying like DeSantis was nobody. Trump got him elected governor of Florida. Let's just be real honest. He even said on the TV day, this last time I was an unknown candidate, yada yada yada. Yeah, nobody knew who you were, dude. You've done a nice job, and
no,
Trump,
he's done a great job. Not a nice
no,
job.
he has. He's done good, but I'm not saying that. But also, you get those two people on the debate stage, Trump's gonna mop the floor with him.
I don't know. I can't. Yeah. I cannot answer that because I think DeSantis is able to put words together, is more well spoken than Trump. I don't know. I don't want to.
He's not as sharp.
I do not want to see that bloodbath. I don't want
exactly. I don't want
it's
either
not
of them. Good for anybody.
No, it's a mess. And I think you're right. If Trump when he comes out, not if he legally can run for president, he's going to do it. Period. I don't care what you say about it. That's already done, decided, all of that. So with that said, DeSantis is maybe trying to get some more national recognition right now before that happens. If Trump comes in, obviously Pence will not be with him.
No, Pence is the one that's going to run again.
Yes, that is very, very likely. Very,
and he's stupid because nobody liked him to begin with.
No, and I'm okay with several.
Nobody
people.
in Indiana liked that man.
Who's Trump? And we gotta shorten this up. Who's Trump going to bring in for a VP then?
DeSantis.
Is that the compromise?
That's what I think because again, that DeSantis running against Trump hurts DeSantis because he won't win and he'll get bloodied. Like every little dirty detail, whatever, it will come out. So, but if DeSantis runs as Trump's vice president, then if Trump doesn't win, it doesn't hurt DeSantis. It just catapults him up to running for president the next time. Either way, whether win or lose. Now, I don't think it's a great pick for Trump. I think he needs to pick a woman, but...
No, I think so, and that's why I brought up Kristi Noem, and I don't think he's going to use her. I gave a little speech about her, by the way.
Oh, that's good. Did you get her phone number?
I had the opportunity to judge a showdown in South Dakota this past weekend, and I could not resist just to compliment how she set an example on how to put the people's liberties and rights first, and I think she'd be a great vice president. DeSantis is probably going to be better, but I'm good with either one. I'm sure there's a dozen others out there that we haven't thrown out there, but one of those two would be great. You're right. Maybe DeSantis, that's the only way those two can come together, and they haven't been throwing darts at each other too hard yet.
Yeah.
Well, good. There's all kinds of the 1 year anniversary of the complete largest military disaster pulling out of Afghanistan we've ever had. We didn't even mention that, but we're running over on time.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some BTR JLA news?
Yes. Hold on, let me find my stuff. I'm glad I didn't even see. You got me so worked up over all this stuff. I'm not good.
The fact that you're trying to say that Trump is not running, or he's not. I don't know how you can pretend he's not running for president.
I did not say he's not, but he has not said publicly.
You are smarter than this.
He has not said publicly that
nothing.
he is running.
Irrelevant.
He has not said publicly that he is running. He has not. Anyway,
maybe you'd make a good politician on things like this.
I don't know about all that, but so we have 2 new sponsors for the BTRJLA of it all, and I will do one now, and I will do the other one before question and answer. But we have a new national top 10 jacket sponsor, which is Reprologics, and we have a Region 2 sheep sponsor, which is Wireman Ranch. But we really appreciate Nathan and Callie at Reprologics for being a national top 10 jacket sponsor. Reprologics is a full-service cattle and small ruminant reproduction company headquartered in Fort Scott, Kansas. Their goal is to provide customers with the highest quality services at competitive prices. They combine their knowledge, expertise in reproductive physiology with state-of-the-art equipment and technologies to maximize the reproductive performance of their clients' cattle, deer, sheep. I didn't know they did deers, sheep, and goats.
Not deers, deer.
Deers. I like deers better. That's interesting. They're founded by cattlemen. They also understand the importance of outstanding customer service is crucial to the success not only of their business but also of their clients' operations. That's why their entire team is committed to providing open, honest communication with customers at all times. Reprologics is the logical choice when you want cutting-edge reproductive technologies and the best customer service in the industry. And of course, since they employ my sister Callie, I think they win. But
they're making a presence on the international stage. I got to visit with Callie in Argentina. She's in Brazil.
Yeah, they're in Brazil right now. Yeah, her, Nathan, and several other people. But so again, thank you to Reprologics for sponsoring National Top 10 Jacket. It's a big deal. We appreciate your support. Again, I'm going to do, because we haven't done it in a while, I'm going to do the top 10 all-around points for this current deal, and to no one's surprise, in first is Piper Liska. She's been in first the whole time, but it is getting closer because Dale's BFF, Paisley Carlson, is in second and kind of closing the gap. Hadley Owens of Vernal, Utah is third. Addison Roberts of Sutherland, Oregon is fourth. Cody Pratt of Blackfoot, Idaho is fifth. Macy Zerbach of Rosebud, Oregon is next. Blake Holmes, Vernal, Utah. So many Vernal, Utah people. Jordan Ash, Lancaster, Ohio. Michelle Rosell of Adams, Oregon. And Isabel Lowry of Helena, Montana.
That's a pretty good spread, isn't it?
Not really.
I thought we jumped around a little. I mean, a little West Coast heavy, maybe.
We have one Ohio, and everything else is.
Well, I mean, like Idaho gets off the water. Arizona's off the water for the most part. It's going the right direction. It's spread. It's moving east.
But anyway, so that's the top 10 all around for this week. And again, we have, speaking of things like, last chance to become a member for this year is the last day in September, because October 1, we're going to start taking memberships for 2023. And I've got a lot of questions about this. We will have made a decision on what we're going to do about sanctioning fees for 2023 by the time that we open up for memberships on October 1. But we're still looking into that. And again, Dale is a big proponent of not having sanctioning fees for the second year. And I'm like, how am I going to pay for all this shit? But we'll see.
If sponsors continue to step up, I think you can get by. But that's if they don't, there's trouble.
Yeah, but I've got to see if these people are going to sponsor again.
You need to ask them.
I'm going to, Dale. I'm a little busy right now. I know you don't realize this, but I'm kind of judging a whole lot of shows. But do you have any
I do.
water, oxygen?
I do.
fresh things?
American-made Show Fresh H2O once again steps in to sponsor this week's episode of Beyond the Ring and continues to give back to the youth livestock industry. Greatly, greatly appreciated. You can purchase Show Fresh H2O at your local supply trailer or order online at swampfox.com.
Lovely.
Main topic time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to love this. Are you ready for the
Yes,
title?
as I
Are you
came
ready?
up with it.
Yeah, but we remember we weren't sure on how to word it to make sure it fits.
We'll go right ahead.
The good, remember this part, the good, the bad, and the ugly of professional fitters.
See, this is not, there is no bad and ugly. I've never understood this. And so
there's some ugly.
I'm going to get my rant over.
Just
at the
jump right
beginning,
in.
and
Jump right in.
I will just sit here and listen to Dale the rest of the time. But I have never understood why professional fitters get such a bad rap. And they do. Like, people think they're Satan and God knows what all else. I've never got it. There has never been a used car salesman get up one day and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go be a professional livestock show fitter. No, that's not how this works. These are all people that were products of the system. They grew up showing, they loved it, they got good at it, all of these things. And I'm also going to point out that the majority of the people that get good at fitting have had a professional fitter or mentor teach them along the way. And they want to continue to be involved and continue to pursue what they like. And so they're a fitter. What the hell's wrong with that?
And they travel a lot and probably don't get paid as well as maybe some other professionals.
Exactly. I have never understood this. I have never understood it.
I will do my best to try to help out here, and I'm going to come in on the positive, negative, neutral, all of it, so there can be some discussion here. It's
over. Professional fitters are great. Let's go.
Question and answer time. We're ready.
Yep.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with exactly what you're saying in terms of, in general, at least those that are the most vocal will usually be a little negative on professional fitters. I think there's plenty of people like where you're at, Ryan, that just maybe don't voice their opinion quite as loud. So I think it's a little bit like the Democrats out there screaming all the time, so we assume there's more of them than there are. Those that are anti-professional fitter, I think, are doing some of the same. So I think that's part of it. The other part of it is, just like anything, whether we talk about breeders or politicians, it doesn't matter what we're talking about or what industry or what segment of any industry we're talking about. There's going to be the really good ones. There's going to be just that one that's average, and you're going to see some that probably don't represent that segment of the industry very well. And I think there's been a stereotype or an image of the professional fitter that you do see. And again, this is, I'm not blanketing all professional fitters by any means here. I'm just trying to give you what maybe the impression is out there, because sometimes the ones that stick out the most are the most noticed. And occasionally you'll have some that maybe aren't as clean cut, as put clean clothes on a daily basis, shower on a regular basis, just like you'd find in any industry. But for some reason, the professional fitters, that's almost the image that's portrayed to the public. And that is far, far from wrong, because some of the best ones are as professional, as clean, as everything as you could possibly imagine. And that takes me into the situation. I'm going to stand here or sit here and talk the good and the bad, or what the images are. We, as in Hummel Livestock or one of our businesses, and you could even throw me in there, but there's no way you can consider me, Ryan, a professional fitter, because I'm not very good. So that takes me out of the professional category. But Ryan, when I send our manager, Craig, or my daughter, Tara, to a Texas major, to OYE, wherever, we go to almost all the Texas majors, OYE, several state fairs, and we will have somebody there to help our clients in whatever manner, as much or as little as they would like, in terms of preparing, hydrating, whatever it may be, to get that animal or that goat in this situation ready to go in that ring. It may be pulling legs, it may be clipping, it could be any of those things. They, as in Craig or Tara, are not paid by those individuals. We provide that as part of our service when you buy a goat. If we can make it there, if it's one of the big shows that we're going to be at for others as well, we don't charge anything for that. It costs a small fortune to do all these things, but we don't charge for it. When you don't charge for it, is that considered professional?
Okay, so this is kind of what I think is bullshit. Because what you're saying is exactly right. You don't charge,
but they're getting still getting compensated for it indirectly.
But you are,
yes.
But like those families are not. But there is no way that you cannot consider Craig or Tara anything other than a professional fitter.
And I agree. But sometimes we define
the majority don't look at it that way because, again, they're not writing them a check. They call Craig a herdsman or whatever else, and Craig is a herdsman, but he's also a professional fitter. And so I think that's the biggest hypocrisy of all of it.
I'm not arguing that.
No, you're not arguing. I mean, I'm just saying, but like someone like Craig, who, just like you said, clean cut, great guy, all this stuff, whatever, that's not his only job in life is to go around and fit goats. He is your herdsman. He does do all these things. But yet, he is mad talented with a comb, glue, and some clippers. So he's a professional fitter, but no one, I think if you polled the majority of the goat people, Craig would not be labeled a professional fitter.
Because that's not his full-time job.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think being a professional fitter is any of these people's full-time job unless they live with a family or house. I had multiple professional fitters housed at our deal, whatever. But that is not nearly as populous as it used to be. Having somebody in your barn every single day that you have on staff. But I just think it's very strange. And I agree with you that there are some people that you want to label a professional fitter, whatever else, that aren't the best people in life and probably don't put on the best, impression.
But we have that in every segment of every.
That's right. And so again,
would it be better if those didn't exist or weren't putting that impression out? Yeah, I shouldn't say it didn't exist,
absolutely.
But if they didn't give people a reason to stereotype that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, yeah, we would like for everybody to put their best foot forward and their best image forward in this industry, but there are professional fitters that, not the best role models. There are breeders, not the best role models. There are brokers, not the best. There are show moms and show dads, not the best role models either.
No, absolutely. You can throw the show dads, show moms, all of them into this. I do believe, obviously, there are a lot of rules at county fairs, state fairs, even national, Texas majors, national shows that involve the use or lack thereof use of professional fitters. So with that said, I think we're walking a fine line that I still, right or wrong, if it's established in their rules that it should not be done, I think that should be respected. Doesn't mean that I agree with it, but if we're going to try to keep everybody on this even playing field and you want professional fitters to come in, go to that superintendent, go to the management and get that changed. Don't just bring them in and break the rules, because then all of a sudden you've got everybody coming after you that this professional fitter was here, it was this, it was that. And, it's probably the worst at county fairs, right?
Okay. And this goes back to something that you and I have both said on here a million times. If you have a rule, it has to be enforceable. There is no way the majority of even county fairs to enforce the no professional fitter rule. Do you want to know why?
Please.
Because there's not enough manpower to make sure everybody that's touching an animal the whole entire time that the animals are on the grounds at a county fair can watch that. And number two, not everyone is going to know, oh, well, that's a professional fitter, or that's an ag teacher, or that's a parent, whatever. Like, there's no superhuman brain person there that knows all those things.
No, and guess what? There's fairs. California tried to put a wristband on those that are eligible. and kids are taking wristbands from their little brothers.
Do you know how easy it is to slip one of them things off and put it on somebody else?
What I'm doing, I'm trying to qualify exactly what you're saying. It's almost impossible. I can remember one of the first years my children showed at Denver and the GOAT show. And it's a fairly small area. It's not a huge show number-wise. They had several people there that would literally, I promise you I'm not a very good fitter or can do much, and I'm legal as being a parent, I believe. We would go to a wash rack, and maybe then I wasn't even legal. Maybe it's the kids only that could fit. But I know that they were watching. They would have somebody following you around. It was the most uncomfortable show I'd ever been to at that time, and visiting with other people, they agreed with that, and I think that's part of the reason their numbers, even though their sale was phenomenal, that was part of the reason that people didn't go, because you felt like you were doing something wrong just by showing up, and that's not what we promote. That's not what we're trying to do. We need to accommodate these customers, and the customer is the show families. So yeah, I'm with you there, Ryan. You cannot enforce that. So I would be an advocate of not having it there. If it's there, I guess you have to try. But guess what? As soon as something like that happens, and I'm going to use an example, and maybe I shouldn't. I guess I won't use any names. But if you put rules in like no professional fitting, and we'll just use that for an example, or drenching, or whatever it may be, all of a sudden you don't have enough manpower to enforce it, which you've already stated and very clearly. Now you have exhibitors taking pictures or videos of others. They may have been drenching in their pen right there, or had a professional fitter right there doing whatever, and they're videoing somebody else doing the same thing they are. And all of a sudden, if they turn that video into the management of that other family, they're kicked out just because they have it recorded. That's crap.
No,
and that's what it comes down to when we have these kind of.
It's literally, how low do you want to go?
Yes,
like in an ideal world, and I realize that nothing is going to be an ideal. In an ideal world, if we would just all tend to our animals and our business and try to get that animal or that show kid or whatever the best that they can possibly be, and not worry about anybody else, we would be so much better off.
I agree.
It's not going to happen. But if you have any love for show cattle whatsoever, the Fort Worth Steer Show is just the most phenomenal thing that you could ever go and watch. It just is. And every single year, as much as I love the Fort Worth Steer Show, as much as everyone in Texas loves it, every year we have this problem. Some people get professional fitters ripped off their calves. Other people do not, because there is a rule that says no professional fitters. But again, only some people fall victim to this rule when others don't. And it's just...
That is the worst.
It's just so disheartening.
Look awfully good for not being professionally fit, by the way.
Right, because 95% of them are professionally fit by someone. But then there is, just like you said, somebody turns in somebody, or somebody's got a bone to pick, whatever, all these other things. So yeah, there have been times when professional fitters have been escorted off the grounds. There's one that can't come back on the grounds anymore. He threw such a fit, all these other things. But again, I understand that if you want to have a no professional fitter rule, that's fine. I think the biggest problem is how do you enforce it? And again,
at least consistent enforcement, uniform enforcement.
And again, my thing is, I do not understand us wanting to punish or us wanting to prevent a product of this industry and this program from helping another child, whether they're getting paid or not. This is America. We are not socialism yet. There's nothing wrong if you do a job very well for getting paid for that.
I cannot argue with that statement.
I'm just saying.
But I'm always put in the position I have to make this a debate. I have to come back with the other side, and I'm going to here. And I believe this to be true, and I'm okay with talking about it. I think there's a situation, Ryan, that, again, I'm not saying it's a high percentage or anything like that, but there are some youth or some families in the livestock industry. Maybe the parents didn't necessarily grow up with a lot of experience or have a lot of hands-on animal knowledge. Maybe they've never shown. Maybe the kids are maybe new to it, maybe not. But there's some that will take it to an extreme where that professional fitter, whether they're living with them or not living with them or at the shows, there are some that are doing everything. When I say everything, they're feeding, they're washing, there's not that transfer of knowledge going to that youth exhibitor. There's no effort. Either the youth exhibitor doesn't care, the family doesn't care, maybe the fitter doesn't want to take the time to do it. Multiple reasons can come into play. But there are some situations, and some of these families are very successful, that child is doing almost nothing other than walking in the ring with it. Under that situation, they're probably not going to get along the best in the ring because they haven't done as much with it. But I think there's, just like we talked about, some of those stereotypical images of fitters that aren't the most professional, maybe not the best representatives. We have some show families and some exhibitors that I think fall into this. And then all of a sudden, even those show families that have a professional fitter come in for that week of the show or whatever it is, and those kids are learning all kinds of information. The kids are getting involved. They're getting there. They're pulling the legs with them. Maybe they're letting them fit a front leg or whatever it may be. It's kind of what you're talking about. But we have that extreme, that segment that those kids are doing nothing. They're trying to learn nothing. And it's that example that everybody will point to and blanket the rest of them with. So I think we're running into the same situation. This is just life. We tend to focus on the extreme, and they do exist, and I wish they didn't, because then that focus couldn't be there. But there are children, there are families that are learning nothing from the professional fitters, probably having much more success because of them, and the child has very little to do with it. That is where most people are coming at it. I think this is within our industry, a very, very small percentage, but it exists, so that's where the darts are being thrown. We lose focus on exactly what you're talking about. Those professional fitters are some of the best to show them, and I'm going to use Craig as an example, or even my daughter Tara. When they're working with those kids, there's encouragement to get them involved and get them to do some of the fitting and explain what's going on. And I think a lot of the professional fitters out there do the same. But there are some situations it doesn't happen, and that's what the focus is on. Can we agree on that?
And no, I think you have a very valid point. Now, why there is those very minute situations where the fitter does everything and the kid takes the halter, grabs the pig whip, or, grabs the sheep or goat by the neck and goes in the ring. Yes, that happens. Okay. I can also say that there is a very small, minute section of the population that the show mom or the show dad does the exact same thing for their child. Or the ag teacher or the county agent does the exact same thing for their ag kid or their, 4-H kid.
Nope, I agree.
And so, yeah. But again, you don't hear anybody bashing the show mom or the show dad that does everything, or the ag teacher or the county agent that does everything, but you do hear a lot bashing of the professional fitter that does everything. Yeah. And it is justified. I in that instance right there, where the child is not involved, not doing anything, whatever, I get it. I understand how that is a tough pill to swallow. Look, I am very honest and very transparent. We had, I would say, a staff of professional fitters my whole junior show career. I lived in the barn. Before school, after school, no one was more involved than me. And there were kids that had professional fitters that weren't nearly as involved as I was. And yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But what rubbed me worse was that the general consensus was I was a prima donna that did nothing, and they handed me the halter, and I went in and won.
Understandable.
Which was completely not the case whatsoever at all, but that is the stigma that you fight when you have that and all that. And I just think to a great deal of it's just like we talked about last week, when people are trashing a kid or trashing a family, either in person or on social media, etc., and they know nothing about that
Correct.
child or that family or anything like that. And I think that's the hard thing to do. I think some of these people that we consider professional fitters, again, they are great people that, just like you said with Craig and Tara, they encourage these kids to try to get involved, teach them all these other things, and they get no credit for it.
Oh, I think that, the families are very appreciative. The kids
Right,
are.
but I'm just saying they are labeled and stereotyped in a very non-becoming manner.
Yes. And does that fitter and that family exist, of the stereotype that's out there? It does, but it is so far from blanketing those fitters and those parents and all of those things. So, and you're right. I didn't even bring up the fact that there are more parents doing everything with those animals than there are professional fitters, by many-fold.
And that seems, I guess the hypocrisy to me is that seems perfectly acceptable to the majority of people, where a professional fitter is not acceptable to the majority. So I don't understand what the difference is, because I know that there are a lot of people, and that I grew up showing with, that were not as successful as me. But you know what? They've had kids. They have great careers. They have more access to funds or whatever you want to call it. And so they want their children to be more competitive than what they were. So they go to these people to get them to help them and help their child be competitive. I don't see anything wrong with that, because not everybody is going to have a Dale Hummel, an Eric Fugate, etc. as a father that doesn't need a professional fitter. They can do it all themselves.
I need one. I need one to.
Fitter. But you're a great feeder and all those other. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody has that situation. So if you're not got the daddy or mommy that has grown up in this and knows how to fit, knows how to feed, all this other stuff, and you want your kid to win, and you seek outside help, to me, that is just like having a private dance coach, a private football coach, all that other stuff. And those people aren't looked down upon in those industries.
I think, I think it's a good comparison. The private lessons that we're getting and going to all the camp sports and club sports and things like that, I think they get a free pass because they are doing more to teach that kid how to do better. Where in this case, sometimes we're teaching them how to fit, how to do things, and other times we're not. It goes back to that small percentage where that, and you know what? The small percentage that we're talking about, Ryan, the ones that kid isn't interested in learning, doesn't do any of that, you know what? They don't even want to probably be showing. This is something probably coming from their parents that want.
And that's a whole nother podcast topic that we need to bring up.
Yes, we do, because you've seen it, Ryan. Those kids that, and some of them are having success. They don't want to be there.
No, and the thing that is the hardest for me is, and I don't know, I'm just very good at reading people in situations. I have been my whole life, and very few times am I wrong. But to me, it is so obvious the ones that could care less about being there. I mean, they're not mad, but they have no desire to be there. They have no I mean, they would much rather be somewhere else. Where, I don't know. And it's very hard to see that, because coming from a family that I literally was obsessed, eat, breathed, lived showing.
Right.
My brother was not.
Time out. You're still obsessed with it.
I am still obsessed.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Make sure everybody understands.
No, absolutely.
It has
still
not
obsessed.
changed.
Maybe more now than ever.
Maybe.
But,
I can't say that, but it's pretty high.
My brother had very little interest in it. He would much rather have been reading a comic book or doing something else that didn't mean. I mean, it wasn't like my parents had to force him to do it or beat him. He did it just to get along with them, but there was no passion, no nothing. He'd much rather been somewhere else doing something differently. And so that gets very personal on my end because I have had that experience growing up as a child. But that is a whole nother podcast topic.
That's a good example. And I'm going to real quick, and we'll save some for that episode. But my 4 children, my oldest son wasn't just completely into it, but enjoyed it. My 2 daughters absolutely ate up with it. My youngest son, Chase, he'll show if we ask him to. I said, Chase, will you show one? Absolutely. He'll go out and do chores, feed lots, feed recips, whatever. But he does not have any true passion or desire to walk in the show ring. And that's okay. He doesn't, consequently, we don't have him showing much. We support other things that he wants to do. It's just, it's just how it is. Not good, not bad, but some kids aren't as interested in it.
And we're getting long on this, but again, I've wanted to do this topic for a while, and Dale always has to, like, I have this whole long list of topics or whatever, and then, like, finally we'll talk about one. He's like, well, what exactly do you mean by this and all this other stuff? And again, I am not here telling everybody to go out and, house a professional fitter at your home or keep one on staff 24/7. I had multiple ones and it worked out just great for me. But I think that the purpose of this episode, for me at least, is I think that we need to open our eyes a little bit and realize that number one, these people that we are labeling professional fitters are a product of this system. And they got good at it, loved to be involved, etc. So they are trying to find a way to stay involved in something that they are passionate about and very good at. And I do not think there is much negative in that situation. And so I think that that's the one thing I wanted to shed light on, that, let's remember where these people came from, how they got to the level that they're at. And I don't think that we should discourage anyone from trying to be a part in the greatest junior program there is to raise a child in any way. Now, are there bad apples? Absolutely. But there are bad apples in everything. And, we wish that we could just take them, throw them in a bushel and get them the hell out of here. But that's not the case.
Very well said. And I agree completely. If, and this refers to the bad apples, if those fitters are ethical and make some effort to encourage the kids to be involved and educate them and encourage them, all those things, get them excited about it, that is maybe one of the best teaching tools we have. Unfortunately, we do have the bad apples, and unfortunately, we didn't bring this up yet, so I'm going to throw it in there. And not just coming from professional fitters, it's coming from breeders, it's coming from parents, but it's going to be stamped onto some of the professional fitters that are taking the ethical side of it and throwing it out the door and doing anything to win and giving those families very much an unfair advantage over those that are playing by the rules. And again, that is, and I'm certainly not going to stereotype fitters when I have my daughter and our manager going out and helping these families. I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm just saying that if we can do as an industry, just like Ryan said, and discourage those bad apples and try to push them out, all of a sudden, I think if those didn't exist, Ryan, I think we'd have a different image of that professional fitter, of not necessarily being a professional fitter, but people are pretty happy when somebody puts on a clinic to show you how to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that same thing, it's rather than teaching the entire barn, we're getting those private lessons on, just like we would for sports or whatever else. And that's as good of a way to learn and get better as you can possibly be. We have to do better as an industry to push the bad away and focus on those that are good and let them teach our children. And we need to think a little harder as parents about who we surround our children with. And that in itself would solve these issues and this image.
There you go.
Are you ready for question and answer?
Well, first, before we do that, I want to talk about our Region 2 sheep sponsor. And again, it's the Wireman Ranch.
Isn't this one that you were needing here? Or this
Yes,
one?
it was.
Yeah.
Yes. Still need a pig sponsor for Region 2, and we need a sheep and a goat sponsor for Region 4, but which I don't even know if Dale even paid attention to this, but I made the executive decision that we were going to have a full-scale awards program for the regions for everything, even if we didn't get sponsorship, because I had to order awards. And so even if we don't get those sponsors, we're going to do it. That's why, I'm the one sitting here going, don't know how we're going to pay for all this, but I'm going to figure it out. But I just thought with so many of the regions being sponsored, it's just not fair to that little handful that maybe we don't get a sponsor. Well, you don't have as many opportunities. So for 2022, all regions and all species will have a full awards program. But when I made this announcement on social media, the Wireman Ranch contacted me, and their cattle ranch, they said, hey, what do you have available for Region 2? We want to be a region sponsor. And so we greatly appreciate them.
That is awesome.
Wireman Ranch is a fourth-generation family-owned row crop and cattle ranch. The operation is located on the far eastern plains of Colorado. The ranch side raises Angus-influenced cow-calf pairs and have recently added club-calf genetics to the herd. In addition to their existing operations, they have also introduced AKC-registered Bernese Mountain Dogs and French Bulldogs to their ventures as the fifth generation of Wiremans begin breeding and selling. They are very active in supporting the junior livestock show industry. We really appreciate them for coming in and being a regional BTR JLA sponsor. And I have to say, I have not seen many pictures of their cattle, but I have seen pictures of their dogs, and they're really, really cute.
I'd like these people, some dog breeding, some live. They're jumping in to sponsor a species that they're not even raised. These are good people, Ryan.
Yeah, so we're very appreciative of them and all of our sponsors. But anyway, that is the other BTR JLA sponsor for this week, and now I get to do question and answer. Yay!
And I had a hard time getting on Messenger this morning, but I did get on there and were able to pull up.
I love question and answer.
No, you don't. You don't know how much yet.
I do know.
Okay, just finished up. Or I don't remember who this came from. I didn't have time to write the name down, but they'll recognize the question. Just finished up our State Fair Market Lamb show, and as we were watching kids in the show ring, several of us came up with a topic for the podcast. So I threw it in question and answer. I was listening so well there. Throughout the day, we consistently saw kids crowding the lamb in front of them. It got so bad in one of the class, the judge actually said something to one of the exhibitors. We think it would be awesome for you guys to talk about ring space management and common courtesy for fellow exhibitors. I'm not sure it would take an entire topic, but let's throw it into question and answer, and then maybe it can evolve into one.
Well, here's the problem. I don't think the large majority, this kind of goes back to the professionals there. I don't think the large majority of the kids are out there intentionally doing this. I think they just don't pay attention.
Yeah.
And they don't see that the lamb or the goat or the calf has stopped, and then they're either watching the judge or, whatever, and then they're on top of them. And then we get to a situation where this one's covered up, so they circle out, and then that one's covered up, so they circle out more, and it's just this thing. And then in 5 minutes, those two animals are on the other side of the ring at the gate because they're trying to not get covered up. But I don't think it's intentional. The majority of the times, I do not think it is intentional. I think it is we don't pay quite enough attention, and on spacing, I have always said, and we said this in several of the showmanship podcasts that we've had, maybe not all, but several of them. I don't care what animal you are showing, but you need to leave enough space on all sides, whether, we're in a side-by-side butt view or a profile view or whatever, where that judge can move in and out without feeling claustrophobic, tight, whatever, so they can go around and look at all sides of your animal or the animal on either side of you. That's what the proper spacing is.
Pretty simple there, right?
I think it is, but somehow it does not seem to be that simple to a lot of people.
I think you're right. I think a lot of the kids don't realize they're doing it, whether they're not paying attention. Maybe nobody's ever told them to let's leave some space. So the parent, the ag teacher, whoever's the influencer, we're going to use that term, whoever the influencer is on that project and that child, we need to educate them about that, and we can't expect them to learn everything at once. And I can think back to this weekend and a decent sized ring in the showdown, they'd bring 12 steers or 12 heifers in, and sometimes the ring space is going to cause some issues as well. So it's not always the exhibitor's fault. And I think very seldom is it intentional. So I think it's more about educating our kids.
Yeah, and again, I don't think the majority of the time it is an intentional thing. I do think that one thing that would be a big help is not only, like you're saying, the influencer educate the showman, but the ring stewards could step in and fix a lot of these problems.
They could, and we've talked. Maybe we need to come back and circle back in honor of your favorite press secretary. We could circle back and do another one of those ring management episodes.
The ring stewards could step in and fix a lot of this because that is kind of their authority. And if somebody is crowded, etc., say, hey, we need to back up. Y'all need to move out, whatever. And I'm just telling you, a lot of times when this happens, when I'm judging, it's frustrating for the kids and it's frustrating for me. And so I'll literally say, okay, we're going to walk around again. We're just going to do this all over again. Y'all aren't in line, etc. Make sure I want y'all to know that we're stopping here this time. So y'all are all in check. And a lot of times that works.
Yeah, just some guidance.
But again, it's taking a whole nother lap and all this other stuff. But a ring steward, I would say that I think that the ring steward should take that initiative to fix it and not have to have the judge do it. But I'm pretty assertive and quick, so I do it anyway. But I think that would be a great help is if the ring stewards see that problem to try to do their best to correct it.
Absolutely. And I have one last thing to add on this one, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I believe a younger, not that you're old, but a younger Ryan Rash may have pulled in close to another exhibitor that might have been the competition. And if the judge and nobody was looking, not even be afraid to give him a crack with a show stick or something.
I do not know what you're talking about, sir.
I can see you doing whatever you thought might help you win in that ring, whether it's crowd.
I was extremely cutthroat. I will say that, but I do not. Other than that, I am pleading the fifth on everything.
Yes. So you're preaching something maybe that a little different than what you practiced long ago, long ago, but it was only for the reason to win. That wasn't for any other reason. It wasn't that you didn't like that person. You just wanted to beat them.
I didn't like anybody. I'm just being honest.
Okay,
I liked banners. That's what I liked.
The next one comes from Kevin. I did get this name down. A judge at a recent show commented about straight-shouldered, that my heifer was straight-shouldered. I have heard the phrase straight-shouldered before. Not sure I understand it or can identify it. Can you please explain straight-shouldered? Much appreciated. God bless. Nathan and Krista, actually. No, that's the name.
No. They didn't.
This is Kevin. Sorry.
Kevin, this is relatively simple for me to explain, but I don't know if this is going to help you. But when a judge discusses being straight-shouldered, the angle to that animal's shoulder is more upright than ideal and vertical than ideal. And so that it hampers the movement in that animal in terms of the front knee, the front legs, etc., because they are too straight. Their shoulder set and angle is not laid back enough to where they can get out and reach and flex off the front end. Now, again, I can say that, and that's exactly right, but being able to help you identify that, unless I was at a show and can say, okay, you see this right here? That is a straight-shouldered animal. Do you see this right there? That is the proper angle that you should have in terms of shoulder. Probably not going to be able to help you talking about it, but at a show, I think you could very easily identify it. If you just ask somebody at a show or ask that somebody knowledgeable or the judge, hey, can you show me what a straight-fronted one looks like, straight shoulder, straight-fronted one looks like, what the proper is, I think it'd be easily identifiable.
Much easier to see in person. And you could do it in any species. Obviously, you want to do it in cattle because that's what you're interested in. I think, Ryan, and that describes it probably as well as you can without the visual. But if you think about from that top of that shoulder, the shoulder blade or the withers, whatever you're going to talk about it, and you take a straight line, a ruler or a yardstick or whatever, and a straight line down where it comes down through that lower shoulder, front knee, past into the hoof, all of that is more of a straight line. Think about that, the pressure that's being put on each of those joints, bone to bone, versus if we have something from the top of the shoulder to the hoof that's a little more banana shape, I guess, maybe is I don't know, a little more curvature, where we actually come back into the body of the animal and then back out as we hit the hoof, where we've got an ability for those ligaments, tendons, for cushion to take place and flex and mobility. But it's going to be so much easier to just see it in person, but it's going to allow for more effortless movement around the ring, not being too straight shouldered. And guess what? When we want to take that head and neck, Ryan, you know how we always talk about that neck coming out of the top side of their shoulder? Mm-hmm. Those type of animals, and I love them. I mean, that is something that I am kind of a sucker for. But sometimes when we take that all the way up there, that tends to follow that straight shoulder. Unfortunately, we can have them that aren't, but more times than not, sometimes
there are some that aren't, though.
Yes, there are, and those are the creatures we really like.
Unicorns.
Yes,
unicorns.
That's what we're always searching for. Okay, the next one, Nathan and Krista. Can you put a podcast together of all your past questions for the whole podcast? We can do better than that, can't we?
I'm not going to do all the past questions because I would probably die of a heart attack with some of them. But anyway.
Well, Clifton could just put them together and we don't even have to do one.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible. That's no fun.
What's the better idea? The one you came up with, I think, yesterday.
I think the best thing to do, and I guess we need to put a social media post up about this, is have a podcast topic says ask and you shall receive. And all we do for that entire podcast is answer question and answers. Now, I may not survive, but that is something that I told Dale that we could do. But
and didn't we do one of these a year ago or so?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I thought we did one.
I brought it up a year ago.
We did.
I brought it up a year ago. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Go back and look at the topics, sir. No, we haven't. I love it when he argues with me.
I'm not gonna roll over just yet. I will go back and I won't. I'll ask Clifton. Is what I'll do. He'll remember. But anyway, I think whether we did it or not, I think it's a good idea. I don't know, Ryan. Do it 2 or 3 weeks from now. I don't know when, but we can put a post up so you know. But right now, officially, please. Facebook message is where I pull most of them from. Beyond the Ring Facebook Messenger is an easy way for you to get the messages to us. I don't lose them. They're always there. You can text us. You can do other methods, but that's the easiest for us. Please submit them. We'll do an entire episode of question and answer. Try to take some time off of Ryan's life.
Thank you.
Via stress.
Thank you.
Ryan, this was a fun episode.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciated. I know you're trying to get out of your overpriced hotel and to a show and things. So with that,
go ahead. And I'm going to see you at the Kentucky State Fair, I assume.
You are. I'm going to at least hang out with James and your mother while you're judging. So I don't know how much time you and I will have together, but I will get to spend some time with your family.
You are not going to like my outfits at all. But it'll be fine.
Why would you do that? Really loud?
Yes, very.
You didn't get that black vest and white shirt? Oh, it's here.
No, I did not.
A quick story. You would love this. I shouldn't even admit to this. So Cade and I did a Southdown. My nephew Cade Hummel did a South Dakota Showdown together yesterday. And we both show up at the show, Ryan, and guess what we both have on?
You're on the same outfit.
We have the white starch shirt, starch jeans. Yeah, I mean, we just look like twins. You would have loved it, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you just have loved that?
Yes, this has been wonderful. Well, I am judging heifers, one ring of heifers, and Blake Boomer is judging the other ring, and I do not think we're going to have that problem.
I don't think you have to worry. I
Do not think we're going to have that
I would
problem.
guess that Blake is going to lean a little more towards the white shirt.
He will be closer to the white shirt and the black vest than Mo.
And I am so proud of him for setting that example.
Oh, good. Yes, yes, yes.
Until next week, be safe.
Y'all come back now, you hear?